Welcome back to Big Movie Mouth Off, the show where three Salt Lake City-based film critics mouth off about movies. It's in the title. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Episode 8, gentlemen. I need to apologize to you in advance right now because my neighbors are having a party. Their taste in music is terrible. And if any of it bleeds into this recording, I'm sorry. It is July 2nd as we record, so holiday parties are happening everywhere. And if your question is, was I invited? The answer is no.
Well, and see, the nice thing is that where we are right now, because in Utah and everywhere else, it is staying light later. It means the fireworks probably won't start for another hour or so.
It's true. I think we're going to
be pretty good.
We can hopefully have a buffer.
You guys might be apologizing to me soon because I'm not in Utah at the moment.
You're in an adult state.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Big boy state. I was just there a couple weeks ago, and it's always so funny because I was going to somewhere like 7-Eleven, and I was like, oh my gosh, it smells like weed here. What? Oh yeah, that's right. They can do that there.
I'm not home. Well, I'm excited to do episode 8 with you guys. We have a jam-packed show. I think it's going to get loud. We're going to start with The Flash, Ezra Miller's Flash solo film. Then we're going to do Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Yes. We're going to talk about our Guilty Pleasures dual role edition in honor of The Flash. And then we'll do our coming attractions and then we'll say goodbye. So we're really excited to be back together on Zoom. It's great to see you guys. Let's talk about The Flash. Before we do that, though, a little bit of the trailer.
Tell me something. You can go anywhere. Another timeline. Another universe. So why do you want to stay and fight to save this one?
Because this is the world where my mom lives. I'm not going to lose her again.
All right, Adam, tell us what this story's about.
So I know some people still want to see it, so I'll try to kind of keep it exactly how it is in the trailer. But we've got Ezra Miller playing Barry Allen, who is the Flash. His life kind of isn't that great because his mom was murdered. His dad was blamed for it, isn't going to get out of prison. So he learns that through the Speed Force, he has a way to go back in time and trying to be very, very careful due to the butterfly effect, changes one small little thing and then jumps ahead into the future, but still his past, and finds out that everything he did changed everything. You know, Barry changing the timeline is a very, very common trope. Not only the fact that everything's weird, he also meets himself. And himself becomes powerful, and we find out everything changed. Bruce Wayne isn't Bruce Wayne anymore, and they're trying to fight against the evil General Zod because now he's coming to Earth unleashed with no one to fight him. And the question is, can they stop him? Do they need to fix the timeline, or can they? Loosely following the Flashpoint comic series with multiple Flashes and all kinds of fun stuff.
I would venture to say that both of you think that explanation is much better than the movie actually is. I'll give you a chance to speak for yourselves.
And it saves you 2.5 hours.
The only reason I even venture to say such a thing is because the two of you saw it weeks before me and you couldn't wait to tell me how much you hated it. So now it's your chance to tell the world. Brooks, what's wrong with this movie? What's
everything
wrong with this movie? All right.
Well, first of all, we didn't wait. We text you the moment we got out of the theater.
I think we text him during the credits.
Well, what's the story here? Why is it so bad?
The CGI is right out of a PlayStation 2 game. There's already a meme about it. Ezra Miller, try as they might, does what they can with the material. And I'll admit, there were some jokes that were funny, but if I'm going to see a movie strictly just to see Michael Keaton as Batman, you're doing something wrong.
I did enjoy Michael Keaton in this film, and that's
no, he wasn't the Batman.
I didn't at first until he's finally shaves his beard. And
you didn't like old retired Michael Keaton, Brooks?
Well, because it was like one scene. I was waiting for him to tell Barry to get off his lawn.
So here's the thing they did was, as I recall, and again, it's hard to match comics to the movies, but if I read Flashpoint a long time ago, it's actually what kicked off the new DC back in like 2012, was by changing everything. Barry finds out that Bruce Wayne actually died. His dad became Batman and his mom became the Joker. Now that would have been a much cooler story to actually include with this. But there's also the joke that with the Frank Miller era of comics with Batman, we have what's called the GD Batman. In fact, you can follow them on Twitter and Facebook for at least 600 posts a day. But they kind of tried to do that with the Michael Keaton, is try to make him like rough, grizzled Batman that, you know, I'm getting too old for this crap kind of thing. And then tried to mix it with the 89 Batman, and I'm not sure how successful they were, but going back to what you said about Michael Keaton being Batman, I don't think he was fine. In fact, I don't see many of the actors in this being the problem with the movie. There's even a cameo at the end that was like, okay, the one time I did laugh really, really hard was a cameo involving someone from another movie that we've reviewed this year. And it tickled me pink because I knew the inside joke around it, and just made me very, very happy. But in the long run, I don't feel it's the actors themselves who are the problem. It's everything around them.
So like the CG, the story, the script, all of it. Is there anything in particular?
If I have to watch The Flash do that, okay, here's the thing is you can do a superhero movie and you don't have to make it so slavish to the comics that you do like his little thing where he's going to take off and run really fast and like holds his finger up. I was like,
it's like, wait for it.
The moment I saw that, I was like, I'm not going to have a good time with this movie. And again, Ezra Miller, they did a fine job. Like, I have nothing against Ezra Miller aside from the fact that they are a crappy person, at least in this movie. But yeah, the writing was bad. I didn't care. Yeah, there's stakes there, but you know dang well that Barry can just go back in time and fix it. And they play with that. They really do. The credits rolled and they did something with the end. They changed the ending. So that final little surprise right before the credits roll wasn't supposed to happen. They actually added something onto it. I much rather would have preferred they didn't add that extra little stinger right before the credits roll because it would have been a lot more fun.
Really?
But yeah,
that alone might have saved it for you.
It wouldn't have saved it for me, but it would have been a better ending. When he looks up and he's like, "Who the are you?"
Right.
It cut to black initially, and then the scene they added on right after that was an add-on from the original ending they had when they showed it to critics, forever ago. So the writing's bad, the CGI is bad. I just didn't care. I have nothing against the actors and actresses in it. They did a fine job, but I walked out and it was like actively hate watching it for the last 45 minutes.
It was an unintentional spoof right from the start.
Okay, so you guys texted me, like you said, like literally walking to your car after you saw the screener of this movie and you couldn't stand it. You wanted to tell me all the things that were bad about it, but you held your tongue, which I appreciate. So I went into it expecting to hate it, of course. And there's a lot about it to not like. I agree about the CGI. I think it's awful. I think the way they depict his running in the Speed Force, when they slow it down for us to see it, is maybe one of the lamest things I've ever seen in a superhero movie. It doesn't fit the physicality around him. It doesn't make any sense. Just even from a running standpoint, it looks super dumb. I think the script is not very good. I'm going to disagree about Ezra Miller being okay in this film. I don't like the way they play Barry at all.
Really?
The character is annoying. The character is hard to like. And for them to make you sit through it twice was, I think, a really bad choice in this film. I don't enjoy.
You're stuck with two.
I don't enjoy the depiction. Now, it's a choice. It may not even been their choice. It might have been the director that told them to play the character this way. But I don't enjoy it. It was irritating in Justice League, and I thought in this movie it was a killer. It just ruined it for me.
And see, I liked them in Justice League, but
Same.
Going back to the script was the moment at the beginning when Barry Allen's mom is talking to him about all the stuff, and she says a line, and you're like, "Oh, that line's going to come up at the finale, isn't it?"
I know it is, of course.
You know it is because the script is
why else would she
bad.
say it?
And I honestly think the reason why maybe you didn't like it, you liked it a little bit more than we did, is because you did go in with such low expectations. Like
It's
I
true.
went in wanting it to be fun.
It's true.
I like the character. I love the DC TV series with Grant Gustin. So I went in with high hopes. High muted hopes, we'll just say. So maybe it's because we're like, this movie is horrible. You're like, well, it can't be worse than they think it is. So
yeah, you guys definitely set me up to go in expecting one of the worst movies of the year, bar none, because that's basically what you told me it was. And
yes, because it is.
I do not agree. I do not think it's that bad. Now, I do agree about the other actors. I think everybody shows up and does fine. I thought Michael Keaton, that guy, he knows what he's doing,
Oh yeah.
That could have been a day shoot for him and you would have gotten his absolute best work and it would have made his part of the film pop. So I liked him in it. Even that little small moment with Ben Affleck, he's living that character in a way that I believe now. And I like seeing him do it. It wasn't a huge part, but it was good. You get to see Diana for a little bit too. You're right. It's not the casting. I don't even have a problem with Ezra Miller per se as an actor. I just don't enjoy the way they portray Barry. And to see it twice, like I said, I'm repeating myself. I'm doing myself twice now. But it just didn't work for me. And I thought that the script was DreamWorks level bad. Like no jokes landed. Nothing was really funny. And I didn't like many of the people in this film. I wasn't rooting for many of the people in this film.
I have a hard time with movies or any kind of medium where I can't root for someone. I kind of have to.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I could
It's
root for Keaton, and you see it in the trailer. There is a Supergirl in this film, and I thought she was great. I enjoyed her very much, and I definitely wanted to root for her, but that storyline is way too short. I just wasn't able to really dig in with her. So you're forced to really commit to Barry as your way into this film, and not just once but twice. Two very different but equally kind of irritating versions of Barry. So I do want to talk to you guys about the multiverse quality of this movie.
Yes, because we just saw Multiverse. That was
we-
good.
We've seen it.
we've seen a lot of it in the past couple of
Yeah.
years. It's been a real theme in film. How do you think this one stacks up to the other versions of multiple universes that we've seen recently?
For me, it never felt like a multiverse. It just kind of felt like a bad Back to the Future ripoff.
It kind of, they use them as set pieces again. And I think actually this goes back to what I was thinking while you were talking, Counts, was we know this and Blue Beetle and Aquaman are kind of rounding out the DCEU, and then everything's going into the James Gunn universe.
Right.
Whatever he decides to do is what we're going to. And due to that, this movie and unfortunately the next two don't matter because
Blue
it's
Beetle
all gonna-
does.
Oh, does Blue Beetle count?
Yes,
Okay.
Gunn has said that is the official start.
Because Blue Beetle seems like a James Gunn type of
Yeah,
character.
kind of
totally
goofy
does.
Lucy.
It totally
Yeah,
does.
But
Yeah.
because of the fact that technically speaking, this doesn't count unless Gunn decides they want to pull stuff over and make into his own series, it doesn't matter. Like the world could have blown up and it all went down to a little speck of dust and the credits rolled, and it would not make a difference because, first of all, with time travel, multi-universes, and everything else that goes around with that, but it doesn't matter. So there was no stakes. And that was my problem with Black Widow being a Marvel Black Widow movie, because as a spy movie, it would have been fine. But we know where she ends. We know what's going to happen. We know everything else. And with this one, we know in the long run, it does not matter because we know that we're not going to see Ezra Miller's Flash later on in James Gunn's universe. The Flash is going to be someone else, hopefully Grant Gustin. So
The whole point of the Black Widow movie was to get Florence Pugh to the Hawkeye TV show. That was the whole point
Yeah.
of it. And it worked. but you're right. Seeing that movie in the context that we saw it in was disappointing because it was
There's
what
no
Jimmy
stakes.
it's what Jimmy always used to say. It's the prequel curse. You know
Mhm.
who's going to live and who isn't.
Mhm.
You know from the beginning, and it's difficult. So this wasn't a prequel per se, but it was playing with the same kinds of tropes. I keep thinking of things I didn't like about the movie, and it's funny because I disagree with you guys about how bad it is generally. But I talked about the script not being great. I talked about the CGI not being great. We all agree that the jokes don't always land. One of the things that I wish people in speed movies would stop doing is stop trying to compete with the Days of Future Past slow down scene.
Mhm.
You're
Oh,
never going to
yeah.
be as good. It's never going to be close. And this one has a probably 20-minute long.
Are we going to
Are you
discuss
talking about
the
the
babies?
opening?
We are talking about the babies. I don't want to spoil anything,
Ugh.
but there's a scene in the opening where you get to see the Flash do his work at our speed. And it's like I said, it's meant to compete with, if not literally, at least in the film world, with that great scene with Quicksilver from Days of Future Past. Is that am I right about that, or is it from
Yeah.
First Class? It is from Days of
It's from
Future.
Days of
It's
Future
Days of
Past.
Future.
Right.
Because they
And
do
then
it
they do it
again in
again.
Apocalypse. Yeah.
It's meant to compete with that. It's meant to be something like that, and it's not close. I think that's where the CG fails the worst, Brooks, is in that scene.
Well, the director's also trying to defend it, calling it like Barry's POV, but I'm thinking the CGI looks awful through the entire movie. So is Barry just constantly living in some kind of fast motion? I mean, I know Barry is, but no one else is. So what's going on? Explain the rest of your crappy CGI.
Adam, what did you think that scene worked?
Oh, it was horrible. And you mentioned Days of Future Past when the kitchen scene was that, yes, of course there was CGI involved. We're not going to say that, but
Of
they
course.
did some real practical effects. And because they were shooting at such a high frame rate, the actors and everyone on the set were almost blind because the lights had to be so bright for them to see stuff. So yes, there was CGI involved in that, but they did do some practical effects to actually make the things happen on set. Whereas this one was just like, Brooks, like you said, a PS2 game. And I think that's actually offensive to PS2 games because that is the highest selling console of all time. And I loved mine dearly.
Oh yeah, we have
but
one.
yeah, everyone had one, even you, and you can't play Lego Jurassic Park
Yeah,
without falling down the hill and getting lost. So
for an hour.
for an hour.
And
No, nothing clicked. Nothing against the performances, which in the long run, maybe it's just because everything around it was so bad that they seemed elevated. But no, I don't care. It's like, and as much as I love Chris Nolan, it's like Chris Nolan saying with Interstellar that when people said they couldn't hear the voices, he's like, no, that was a design decision. I'm like, no, it wasn't. Just to fess up, and you need to adjust the levels.
Well,
Because you can hear it at home.
He's sticking to it, because the same thing happens in Dunkirk, and it's probably going to happen in Oppenheimer as well. But look, you guys think this is one of the worst movies of the year. I don't even think it's the worst DC EU movie. I actually think Wonder Woman 84 gives it a run for its money. I thought that movie was awful, and this one's not great either, but I just don't agree it's one of the worst of the year because it's too harmless. Like you said, there's no stakes. None of it really matters. So
it feels like you got to see it to believe it.
To me, it's a shrug. I think to you guys, it's a fist. You guys are really unhappy about it.
I talked to someone about it, and they reminded me that the Fantastic Four existed, and that is
true.
So that's why I've kind of adjusted my score when we get to it.
Well,
because it's still not that bad.
Speaking of scores, let's do that, because I don't think there's much more we need to say to people. The one thing I will note is that it's leaving theaters pretty quickly. It's bombing and theaters are dropping it. I literally saw it here in Jackson, Wyoming on the last possible showing that I could. It's already done. So
dang it, you almost got away with it too. So.
I know. So Max will pick it up at some point. They're going to give it a little break, and they'll probably put it on Max, so you will be able to see it that way. And
I got to do something with it.
I think you should, so you can decide for yourself. But here's what we've decided. Here are our scores for The Flash, Ezra Miller's Solo ×2 take on the character. Brooks, you go first. What do you score it?
Like I said, I adjusted merely because of Fantastic Four existing. There were some jokes that made me laugh ultimately, and seeing Michael Keaton back as Batman was awesome until, I mean, he did deliver the funniest line in the entire movie. For me, I was crying, and it was a really stupid line, but I'm like, only he could have made this so gloriously awful. And hopefully on purpose, but I'm gonna land on a simple 1
star. Okay, so you did not like it, but you probably were sitting at 0 when you texted me after the screening, weren't you?
Oh, it was probably lower than that.
All right. 1 star for you, Brooks. Where are you, Adam?
I'm gonna go with the same thing, a 1 star. I couldn't give 0 stars because our site doesn't allow that, so I gave it a half star. But I did go back and think about how I did overall enjoy some of the performances. And that one joke, that one cameo really got me, because I thought that was kind of fun. But aside from that, I'm almost wondering why they would even put it on Max if they want to keep subscribers, because I feel like this would make them lose subscribers.
I think I know the cameo you're speaking of, but we'll talk about that off mic because we don't want to ruin that for people. Okay, so 1 star for Brooks, 1 star for Adam. I'm giving this movie 2 stars because I think it's harmless and I enjoyed myself a lot of the time. I certainly was able to rattle off several flaws during this review, and I agree with you guys about this movie's imperfections, certainly. But I just don't think it was important enough to give 1 star to. So as an experience, 2 stars for me.
I feel like some tides will turn when you can start attending screenings with us.
Yeah, probably so. I watch these things without
We'll see how you feel about some of these movies when you're sitting next to us.
2 stars for me, Brooks.
1.
Adam?
1.
Okay, so The Flash, not great. Not great. See it at your own risk. When we come back, we're going to talk about Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. We'll be right back. And we're back on Big Movie Mouth Off. We're going to talk about Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. But before we do, how about a little bit of the trailer?
In my life, I've seen things. I've been tortured with voodoo. Been shot 9 times, including once by your father. Sorry! But I've been looking for this all my life.
Okay, Brooks, tell us what this is about.
All right, so it starts in 1944. Indiana Jones is fighting the Nazis like he should be. He's all de-aged and pretty again. He comes across an antiquity that's being sought after by the Nazis and manages to steal it away. And then we find out later that someone's still looking for it. And Phoebe Waller-Bridge shows up as Indy's goddaughter, and shenanigans ensue.
All right. So this movie, as you said, starts in 44, goes to 69, I think it is.
1969.
And then there's other things that happen. We have to be very careful with this film to not spoil anything. Even Harrison Ford himself did a teaser trailer telling people don't spoil the movie, which I thought was really clever. This is Indiana Jones, the retired version. You get to see him de-aged, but really the movie is about where he is at this point in his life. I went into this with just as low expectations as I did for The Flash, because I saw some early reviews that were really bad. Like,
it's like I
4 out
said
of 10.
before.
I know.
They premiered it at the wrong place. Why would you do that? So
They did it at Cannes, right? Is that what we
Yeah.
said? Yeah. Well, that's
Yeah,
that,
the
that,
snootiest film festival. Yeah.
that does seem strange. But you made a statement when you were talking about it as one of your coming attractions, Brooks, that you trust James Mangold, and I think you had every reason to, because guys, what we got with Dial of Destiny is an Indiana Jones movie.
yeah.
Straight up, no fluff, right down the middle.
I mean,
exactly what I was looking for. Do you agree, Adam?
Oh, 100%. And I've been telling people, because again, we saw this a couple weeks ago, and everyone's like, oh, I heard it didn't get good reviews. And I was like, no, cons, blah, blah, blah. But the whole thing is, this is by the numbers Indiana Jones. You start out with an action scene with something going on with Nazis most of the time. You go to the university, things are happening there. He gets looped into a world-spanning adventure, and then there's a big crescendo. That's exactly what this was. And that's all I want in Indiana Jones. It's like with the Transformer movies, I want to see robots hitting each other. That's all I want to see.
They could have wanted more out of this one.
I mean,
again, snooty film critics, but
there's
we are not,
nothing. There's nothing in this film except for maybe one thing that I won't mention that is surprising. Everything else happens exactly at the moment it's supposed to. The beats all feel really familiar, really predictable, but also really comfortable. I felt so comfortable. I mean, do you agree, Brooks?
Oh, totally. I mean, if you were to, it felt way more Raiders or even Last Crusade than Crystal Skull, which I'm one of the few who doesn't hate that movie. But
I don't hate it. I don't like to
mean,
watch it over and
if
over
you
again.
compare this to the original trilogy, it fits right in. It felt like a natural progression. They did exactly what they should with a character at that age. And I mean, Harrison Ford told them when they were making it and writing it, he said, we're scrapping any old man jokes. We're not doing it. It's cheap, it's low, and it's out of character, and we're not using them.
Really
it works
glad-
for the better.
I'm really glad you mentioned Crystal Skull, because the review that colored my preconceptions the most said that we didn't know how good we had it with that movie, meaning that Crystal Skull is much better than this one. I think this movie undoes all of the damage Crystal Skull did. I think this movie puts Indiana Jones right back on the path he was on with Raiders. To say it's as good as Raiders is dumb, because Raiders is so iconic and it's its own thing. It doesn't deserve to have anything compared to it. But I definitely had as much fun as I did with Raiders. And, you know, it's really simple. Put Indy with Nazis and it works. That just works. There's all the chemicals are just flowing
And
in
who
the right
doesn't
direction.
love it?
I know. So, I mean,
Nazis.
people are just
good.
Yeah, they don't love it for sure. People are just wrong about this. I think Harrison Ford is very good. Phoebe Waller-Bridge is good in whatever she does.
Oh,
and she's got
always good.
She's got good writing chops. I think she wrote a Mission Impossible movie. I mean, she's like,
it was Bond. She helped write the last Bond.
My point, though, is that she gets this action thing. She had her show Fleabag, which was very much a niche, artsy, really, really good show. But she also gets the big tentpole action thing. So she's very good in the role. I didn't think any of the cameos or callbacks or Easter eggs were irritating. I thought they all worked really well.
Nope.
I thought the new characters they brought in were great. Mads Mikkelsen as the bad guy just works.
Oh,
He's
he can
so
do no
good.
wrong. Like he can't. He can't.
And especially as a villain.
Yeah,
What
he's
did
in
you-
movies I don't like, and I will still watch them if he's in them.
So there's one big thing that happens at the end where the story goes in a direction you don't think it will. We're not going to talk about what it is, but I just want to say to you guys, to see if you agree, I stopped breathing for a second. I thought that was incredibly creative and totally unexpected. And the way the story wraps
It's
It makes
the
sense.
movie
at the end.
sticks to its guns.
It does. It also sticks the landing, which is
Yep.
not always easy to do with this kind of high concept popcorn stuff. I mean, did you guys agree that that was an incredible choice and an
Oh, I
incredible
loved it.
execution?
I
Oh
loved
yeah,
every
it was a
second
ton
of
of fun. And there's certain types of movies that I'm a sucker for, and Jimmy was, and we're not going to say
Oh,
any more
yeah.
than that. If you
Yep.
know us, you kind of get it. That's a little hint.
Mhm.
But the fun thing too is I do want to see it again, because as you're going through the movie, it's dropping these little breadcrumbs
Oh, totally.
that if you're following along with, you'll guess what's going to happen, but then you still don't, because you're kind of just having fun, and then you're like, wait, well, that's kind of weird. What's going on there?
Yep.
But
And then you can't believe they do it.
yeah, exactly. And it's just a fun movie, and not every single movie out there has to be this mind-blowing, like, I'm sure Oppenheimer, we're going to blow our minds because we know what we expect from Nolan. We know what we expect from Mangold, though, is like he's great with these kind of films. And yeah, one thing you brought up that always stuck with me, and I've been saying nonstop, is if they would have gone the whole route of Old Man Yells at Clouds, it wouldn't have been fun. But there's like one or two jokes that stand out that Indy himself makes about being old. And that's great because he can comment on his own self. It was like the
Yes.
Danny Glover moments. It wasn't like, oh, haha, look at you, you're climbing a wall and you're old. No, he gets the chance to say that because that's what he
Yep.
should say. If I was climbing a wall, I'd be like, why am I doing this? But it's just a fun movie, and it does address a lot of the things in Crystal Skull. And it just kind of goes, well, that happened. Now we're moving on, and they like certain lines. They just like with one line, they're like, okay, cool. That was it. We dealt with that now. But again, it's there to have fun. It's Indiana Jones. I love seeing Harrison Ford put on the hat, grab the whip. There's callbacks to the other ones, but again, they're not doing it like Jurassic World did, which even though I enjoyed it, was doing too many of like the wink, wink, nudge, nudge things. This isn't a Monty Python skit. This is a movie. So let's stick with that. But I don't get why people didn't like it, aside from the fact that it premiered at Cannes. Now, that being said, if you count or look at Rotten Tomatoes, it is up into fresh rating now.
It should be.
Yes.
Those
It went
people-
up once real people saw it.
Right, exactly.
Yes.
And it's the review levels are starting to rise, and I think they're clearly rising on this podcast today. But I have to give credit to Mangold because of the performances he gets. Harrison Ford has still got it.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
I told you I'm taping in Jackson Hole, Wyoming right now. He lives here. I'm still hoping to see him at the grocery store someday. It's never happened. He can do things, guys, just little things with his eyes or his face that are incredible. And there was this one moment in the film. I saw it today as we record, so a lot of things are fresh on my mind. Boyd Holbrook plays one of the bad guys. He's working for Mads Mikkelsen. There's a moment where he shoots somebody, and he has this little tick in his face where you sense a little bit of regret just for a second, just for a split second, and it never comes back. It never resolves itself. It doesn't change anything about his arc. But Mangold left that in the film, and it's just glorious because these characters have more dimensions than you should expect from this kind of film. And I think that has to do with the acting. I think it has to do with the directing. I think it has to do with the fact that the script is not overwritten. It's just the right amount of words and not more. And it gave us exactly what we wanted. It gave the fans what they wanted without beating us over the head with it.
So one thing I want to bring up, since you mentioned his face, how do we feel about the de-aging process for the opening scenes?
This is like the de-aging completely works. It was pretty amazing. But my only beef with it, as I explained to people, is that it's de-aged Indy with old man Indy's voice. They didn't do anything to change his voice, and it started to draw me out. So thankfully there's not a ton of dialogue in the sequence, but the de-aging was spectacular. But come on. You couldn't do anything to make him sound young again.
I think de-aging is getting to the point where it's hard to think about anything else when you're watching it happen. And I agree that it looked good, probably as good as anyone's doing right now. But I'm seeing people sort of pick on it online. And I think it's because it's impossible to look away from it. There's still a little bit of uncanny valley with de-aging, just a touch, just a little bit. There's a great scene at the end of that whole opening bit, Brooks, where he and his friend are walking away after jumping off the bridge. And you could tell it's old man Harrison Ford's body.
Oh, yeah.
You can
He was
tell.
like limping or something.
You can see it. You can
he
see that
looked
it's him.
super old in that one shot.
You can see that
It was
it's
actually
him.
that was my cameo. Actually, that was me in that scene.
Are you sure it wasn't me?
I don't have anything bad to say about the de-aging, except that I'm still wary of it as a viewer. It doesn't, I'm not free of the.
It's not
of-
invisible.
Exactly. That's the right way to say it.
Yeah, But if you look where we've come, even just in the last few years since Rogue
Oh
One,
man. Yeah.
Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher, like even like Peter Cushing more than Carrie Fisher at the very end of that movie did a decent job with the de-aging. But
Yeah.
even then, you could tell it was very much a computer graphics
yeah.
type of thing.
And
This
it was
one,
distracting.
yeah, tiny little bit. I like Brooks said, I wish they would have done the voice. The voice, if the voice had been done properly, it would have completely lifted the
Oh, yeah.
suspension of disbelief.
Oh,
I think-
absolutely.
But that's what drew me out of it, like you said, for a little bit.
I hadn't even thought of the voice, Brooks. You might have actually solved it for me. That might have been the thing that kept me from relaxing during that section. And, not to harken back to something we already closed the book on, but The Flash has some de-aging in it, which is god-awful. Absolutely god-awful. So
Like the rest of the movie. So
well, no, but the de-aging didn't work in that film at all. Okay, well, I think it's easy to like this movie for all the reasons we said. They do everything the way we wanted them to without
Mhm.
punishing us with too much
Mhm.
fan service. I really appreciated that. So I'll score it first, and then I'll let you guys go. I'm at a solid 3.5. I loved it. The only reason it's not a 4 is because it's silly and it's a little on the long side. 2.5 hours is probably a little bit long for an Indiana Jones movie, but I had such a blast. 3.5 for me. Where are you, Brooks?
I'm at the same. I mean, obviously, it's not a perfect movie. And I think the other thing is so many people are trying to focus on whether it's a Steven Spielberg movie when they makes them totally miss the point that it's an Indiana Jones movie
Yep.
through and through. So they need to stop looking for that. Because even if you look at his Indiana Jones movies, that's what they are. They're Indiana Jones movies. I don't look at those as Steven Spielberg movies because they're so different from everything else he makes.
I think Steven Spielberg used to be able to get out of the way better than he can now.
Yeah.
And I think when he was making Raiders, he was able to let Harrison Ford become that character in a way that made us want this all these years later. I totally agree with you.
Mhm.
So
They
you're
need
at
to get off
3.5.
their high horses, and I'm agreeing with the 3.5.
Love it. Adam.
cool. I'm actually right there with you. 3.5. It's an Indiana Jones movie. It's fun. I don't know what more you could want. It was really funny. There's a scene in the beginning where they kind of do a misdirect about what they might be going after and doing. And I fully enjoyed that because that's a reference back to some of the Indiana Jones games that I've played in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I've done every Indiana Jones game ever known to man I've played and loved, and even the bad ones. But I like the misdirection. I thought it was great that they didn't do the old man yells at clouds jokes, and they just let it be itself. Like we didn't need to make it this reboot or this revamp, or I mean, I guess we could even say passing of the hat. It was just like, hey, yeah, he's older, he still goes on adventures, and it's just fun. I can't wait to see it again. I want to pick up on those little breadcrumbs I mentioned.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
sure now that I know
It'll be
what's
more
gonna
fun
happen,
to
I can
rewatch.
find it. And
I
at home when I'm not in my own little room. So
I think some of those breadcrumbs the second time through are going to probably feel like a hammer to the forehead, but
A little more than they would
not-
have, yeah.
Yeah.
not very.
And we'll be
subtle.
looking for them. So
Yeah, totally. So 3.5 for you, Adam. Brooks,
3.5.
and 3.5 for me. We really liked Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Don't wait. Go see this. Do wait to see The Flash. Go see Indiana Jones twice. All right. When we come back, we're going to harken back to The Flash by talking about our Guilty Pleasures Dual Role Edition. And here we are back on Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Bird.
and I'm Adam McDonald.
Guilty Pleasures, gentlemen. This episode is Dual Roles Edition. We're doing this, of course, because of Ezra Miller's dual portrayal of the two different Barry Allens. So I think this is a fun one. I'm really curious to see what you guys came up with. Brooks, you go first.
I was not sure which one to use, but I think I'm going to stick with The Nutty Professor from 1996. I can't help it. Really?
I see.
Did I steal it?
His face.
You did. This is
I did.
it
It
took
was
us
either this or maybe like the Austin
it took us
Powers
until
movies.
episode 8 for someone to steal somebody's guilty pleasure, and you got me, Brooks. You got me.
I thought we were on the same page, but I didn't think it'd be the exact same movie.
The
And see,
exact
I went much
same
more
page.
esoteric, so I'm glad I
Wow.
Well, I mean, this
He
is a
does such
truly
great-
guilty
yeah.
pleasure because who's watching this movie anymore? But the dinner table scene
the
is one of
clumps.
the greatest things. I love it so much, and the outtakes with the grandma are
hilarious.
just It was Eddie Murphy at his absolute best. All right. Well, it took 8
Well,
episodes
there we
to
go.
get there. We had a steal. Mine is also the Nutty Professor dual role edition. All right, Adam, was yours Nutty Professor?
No, and I actually had forgotten about the grandma. I love the grandma so much because there's a scene where she's like, I bent over and I stood up and I was in pain because I stepped on myself. Like, it's just,
When
it's
she
so
tells
much
the dad,
fun.
come on over here, Cletus. Come on over. It's just a short walk. You're going to be limping back.
Come on over.
Oh yeah, that's a fantastic movie. It's definitely a guilty pleasure. So mine, actually, I would not say it's a guilty pleasure, but I'm kind of going off some previous conversations about people kind of discovering things because we recommended them. This was an HBO miniseries from 2003, based on my favorite play of all time, Angels in America.
Oh,
So it's a 6-part miniseries with Al
Yeah.
Pacino, Meryl Streep.
mhm.
You've got
Huge cast.
Michael Gambon, Jeffrey Wright. You've got all these people who are still doing a lot of things. It's told in 6 parts, but it's actually split up into it's 2 acts of 3 episodes each. Takes place during the AIDS crisis back in the 80s and 90s. There's so much symbolism there. If you live in Utah, there's a lot of stuff tied in with like the LDS Church and religion. But going back to the idea of multiple people playing multiple roles. So Meryl Streep plays no less than 4 roles. Emma Thompson plays 3 roles. Jeffrey Wright plays 4 roles. With very few exceptions. Al Pacino is Roy Cohn. He plays the 1 role. But aside from that, it's everyone all over the place. How they stage it on stage as well. It's the same thing where you're playing multiple roles. If you haven't seen it, I'm sure it's on HBO Max or whatever you want to call it. I have the DVD copy from way back when I lived in California still. And it's actually, as a theater guy, I enjoy reading screenplays and scripts. I do go back and read it once a year.
Tony Kushner,
Absolutely.
right? That's who wrote
Tony
the plates
Kushner,
on-
yeah.
Yeah.
Who's now gone on to do a lot of stuff
Yeah,
that we see
yeah.
in our world doing film.
I have
Um,
never seen the show. You're making me want to watch it. I think I will now.
I remember when it
it's-
was on.
You get to see Meryl Streep as a old rabbi.
What?
So when you first see Meryl Streep, she is an old rabbi at a funeral.
Wow.
Wow.
So-
Okay. Well, Adam might take the cake, Brooks. I mean, we tied for second, I think. I think we tied. So say again, Adam, what's your guilty pleasure?
the miniseries Angels in America, which should be on HBO Max.
And mine was Nutty Professor. What was yours, Brooks?
Some movie called The Nutty Professor.
Brooks for the steal. All right. When we come back, we're going to talk about our coming attractions. It's our last segment of the show. We're going to talk about things we're excited for, things that are coming up. And we're back one last time on this episode of Big Movie Mouth Off. Coming attractions, things we're excited about. I'm going to go first because it'll be super boring because we've mentioned this film 8 times already in this episode. And I think I've already mentioned it at least once as a coming attraction. But as we record very soon, Christopher Nolan's new movie Oppenheimer is opening, and the more I see trailers, the more I see interviews. He's got a piece he wrote for Wired magazine this month. I'm super excited about this movie, not just because the cast is so good, and it is. I'm a Chris Nolan guy. I love his sound design. I understand it. I take him at his word. I totally buy into it. I don't think he's lying. I think it's legit, and I love it. Adam, what are you looking forward to?
Well, also, I think I'm one of the 4 people who actually like Tenet, but that's just
I'm the third of the 4. Then I'm with you.
Oh, it's us
And then-
3 and someone else.
yeah. That was the day I found out when I watched it for the first time that I had to be quarantined for COVID. Way back in the day, I didn't even have it. I just had to be quarantined.
Didn't I tell you to watch it because we hadn't seen it yet?
No, I was just waiting for it to come out in on like HBO Max because I just hadn't had a chance to go see it in theaters.
I loved it.
No, that was when it. No,
Oh, it
that's
was
when
the
it
book.
came out.
I told
No,
you
the
you
book
needed to
got
buy
me.
the book.
This was back when they were releasing the movies in theaters on HBO Max like the same day. Remember
Yeah,
that?
Yeah,
So that was how I saw it as soon as I could. So
that's right.
we're sticking with the video games thing, and I'm very happy to say that my last coming attraction, I believe, was Final Fantasy 16.
It was.
Is mind blowing.
Yeah. It's
it's
getting
almost
great
like-
reviews.
Yeah, it's absolutely incredible. It's more like Game of Thrones in a sense, and I saw some things I wasn't comfortable with in this game series. So we're staying with the same line now. It's the same developer actually. So back in the late 90s when I was in high school, the Super Mario RPG Legend of the Seven Stars came out on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. It was one of the few times that Nintendo let a third party take their characters and do their own thing. Final Fantasy Mario, what's not to love? Well, they're finally remastering and remaking it. And they just announced it a couple of weeks ago, and it comes out the week after my birthday. So if you want to get me a gift, that's what you do. And it's the same game, but they added a bunch of stuff to it, made it look pretty and colorful. And that also is in like my top 10 favorite games of all time. So I'm excited for it to come out and actually, because I've played through every single version of it, because they keep on like, there's the DS version, and there's the Switch version, and then there's this version. I've played every single one to completion, and I just can't wait to see what they do with all the sparkly new graphics and stuff. So
I'm sure there's a lot of people that agree with you. Bring it home, Brooks.
Oh, well, you know me. Insidious, The Red Door, the 5th entry to one of my favorite horror series, at least as far as the first 2 films are concerned, which this is a direct sequel to. Apparently, it might not have anything to do with the 3rd and 4th movie, which is for the better. The 3rd was fine. The 4th, oh God, it was so bad.
I don't think I've ever seen any of them.
Can I see this one after steadfastly refusing to see the other ones?
Probably not, because it's got the exact same cast. I think even the
Am I
kids
gonna be
are
lost?
the same. They're even bringing back the kid to come back. They're bringing back the original son from the first one. So
Okay, all right. Is this Toni Collette in this movie, or
no, it's
who's in it with? Oh, it's Vera Farmiga.
Rose Byrne.
Rose Byrne. Okay, well, you should have just let me name 10 more actors. I would have probably continued to get it wrong.
Vera Farmiga's The Conjuring. You're close. They're
Oh, boy.
Jason Blum. So
I can't keep my scary movies together. That's why
and
you're
James
here, Brooks.
Wan. Yeah, exactly.
That's why you're here.
Don't
All
worry,
right.
I got you.
So, Brooks, you're looking forward to.
Insidious, The Red Door.
I'm looking forward to Oppenheimer, and Adam.
Super Mario RPG.
Well, those are 3 things that I think are going to get a lot of agreement out in the world. Episode 8 is in the books. I'm glad that I went and saw The Flash for myself and didn't let you guys talk me out of it. But I'm mostly glad that I didn't let anybody talk me out of Indiana Jones, because what a treat.
So
and that's
fun.
actually one you do want to see in theaters. Like, it's one that really
Oh, yeah.
benefits being on that
Absolutely.
big screen.
Thank you guys. Great to see you as always. Can't wait to
As
do
always.
it again. Until next
Yes.
time, this is Big Movie Mouth Off. I'm Jeff Counts.
I'm Brooks Byrd.
And I'm Adam McDonald.
Thanks for being with us. Big Movie Mouth Off is produced and edited by me, Jeff Counts, and co-hosted by Brooks Byrd and Adam McDonald. This episode and every episode of the show is dedicated to the memory of our founders, Jeff Michael Weiss, and my dear friend and partner in crime for over 5 years, the incomparable Jimmy Martin.